What's up YouTube? So today I want to show you how to make a really cool psychedelic lead sound with Serum. So this is not unique to Serum, you can do this with pretty much any other synth, but there's a particular thing that I've been using in Serum, which is like a combination filter that I've been using in Serum that really makes the most of this technique. So this technique is using parallel filters into a distortion to kind of create a squelchy, almost formant-like sound, but it's not quite a formant filter. The reason I really like doing this technique as opposed to using a traditional formant is it allows you to get stuff that's, you know, it goes from like a vocal sound to a lead sound, back to a vocal, etc. So how we set this up is we can just start with a traditional saw wave for now. We can get a little bit more experimental with the waveforms if we want to a little bit later. But most of the time when I'm doing these kind of more complex, let's just say more complex filtering setups, I like to use a saw wave because it's the full harmonics. And then we're carving off the harmonics with the filter. Okay, so here let's enable the filter. The real magic of this technique uses these multi-filters over here. So what these are combinations of filters. So in Serum, you don't have like two filters like you do in Vital or unlimited filters like you do in Phase Plant. If you're wanting to do setups like this, you have to use these multis. So what these are basically combinations. Like you can see here HB12. What that is it's a high pass and a band pass 12 dB per octave. So then there's also LBH, which is low pass, band pass, high pass 24, etc. My favorite for this type of stuff is the HB12. So what this is basically a high pass and a band pass in one. Then we have the resonance control for both of them together. So the reason that this is so cool, like I said, with a formant filter, often these frequencies are moving kind of together with a modulation, but here we can kind of move them outwards, together, parallel, all sorts of different ways. So just to start things off, let's right click over here, let's say mod source chaos 1, right click over here, mod source chaos 2. We can go over to the matrix just to make sure that everything is assigned over here. We can come back and fine tune these once the setup is done. Yeah, let's go over to the effects and apply the distortion. So for this, I generally like the diode 1 or diode 2. This is kind of like an acidy distortion sound. What I want to do is just turn down the master because I'm going to drive up the distortion drive quite a bit. Okay, let's check what we got so far. So the trick is to fine-tune these cutoff and frequency over here, and also the amount of modulation that's being applied to those. Let's also jump over here to the chaos, and we can turn down the rate a little bit. So depending on the type of sound that you want, you might want to go with more of a sample and hold type of random, or you might want to go with more of a flowy type of random. We can choose a little bit later once the setup is done. Okay, that's sounding a little bit better. Nice slow randomization being applied, and a nice kind of like acidy tone coming through. Yeah, let's set this to mono legato and let's give it some portamento so that when we overlap these notes, they can glide from one note to the next. Okay, that's sounding like we're getting somewhere. Yeah, let's jump back to the effects and we can add a little bit of hyper dimension. Let's turn down this hyper and just give it some dimension. Let's give it some delay. Set this link, dotted, feedback up, change the filter, ping pong, change the mix a little bit. Let's maybe go with a 1/8. So if we want a kind of more stereo sound, what we can do is we can add a unison voice, turn the detune down. So what this is going to do is going to duplicate the channel to left and right. Cool, that's sounding good. What we can do is we can save this as one variation. So here, let's jump into the chaos. Let's set both of these to BPM sync mono and sample and hold. And let's set these to, let's go with like 1/16 on the one. And let's go with 1/8 on the other. In fact, maybe we could do like a 1/8 dotted. Yes, that is fantastic. Okay, cool. Let's save this as the sample and hold variation. SNH. Cool. So, if you want to know a little bit more about the chaos oscillators or chaos modulators and what exactly these are doing, I actually recently put out a video about that. Otherwise, I think that's about it. Nice simple patch for today. The rest is in how you actually sequence these kinds of things. So with this kind of thing, you know, traditional acid leads are like note on every 16th, da-da-da-da-da-da. Don't do that. Do very sparse kind of stuff like I was doing here, like a... and then let it delay out for a few bars, and then another one that's slightly different. Another thing to note is like sometimes for this kind of thing, if you want more of like a spacey delay, it can be preferable to use like a third-party delay. I'm not a huge fan of the delay that's in Serum. It just sounds a little bit clunky. Whereas here, for example, like the Bitwig Delay Plus just like sounds really, really nice. Obviously, that's subjective. But like with the reverb as well, reverb in Serum is not amazing. So like let's use a third party here just to make the most of the sound, you know? Good old friend Serum. Hey, it's been a while. That was fun. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm going to be uploading these two presets to my Patreon for all my $5 supporters. So if you want to know what that's all about, check out the links in the description. Also, keep in mind that I recently just put out a Bitwig masterclass. If you want to know what that's all about, there's also some links in the description. Cool. So I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.